Hey, so a couple of weeks ago, I was reading some materials on energy and fatigue and cortisol levels, et cetera. And the notion of a caffeine reset was brought back to my attention. So, a few fellow biohackers and those in the health space, swear by doing a quarterly or at least every once in a while sort of caffeine reset, if you will. So. One of the reasons being that caffeine raises your cortisol levels, and many of us already have high cortisol due to all the stress in our lives from many different sources. Besides just work and relationships and et cetera. There's very many things that cause stress for us. So taking a break, at least from the caffeine perspective, maybe can have some benefits. So. Another being that we can build a tolerance to caffeine as well. We might need to get more and more and more caffeine. That's that third, that fourth, that fifth cup later on into the day, etc. To function at the same levels that we are able to in the past. And this could be bad for potentially a whole number of reasons. And I won't get into those here in this post. And also not to mention another thing too, that caffeine obviously can have effect on your sleep as well, depending on the timing you have it and your genetics. And I've talked about this before. I'm a slow caffeine metabolizer, so it takes me, the half-life of caffeine for me is really late or really long, excuse me. So I can't have coffee or caffeine any later than, maybe 10, 11 in the morning. Otherwise it messes up my sleep for sure. So after reading these materials, I kind of was pondering it, and then I realized, geez, I haven't had a coffee break since I've been introduced to coffee. And I remember it was the second year of university, and I got introduced to sort of a boost, energy boost before going and working out. So, with the exception of maybe like a long travel day, or maybe, I went, 30, 36 hours, something like that, without having a coffee or something like that. I have not had a single day break in the last 23, 24 years straight. So I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this. So I'm recording this on the 14th day of my caffeine reset. So I went 2 weeks without having any caffeine, and tomorrow I'm going to reintroduce caffeine via coffee, and we'll see if I get a cognitive boost or whatever. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So this is how I began. So the first day, sort of my taper, I went to 75% of my normal caffeine intake, and then for the next day, I dropped down to 25% of what my normal caffeine intake would be, and that was the only day that by the end of the day, I kind of had that withdrawal headache, that caffeine withdrawal headache. That I've maybe had in the past before, as I mentioned, travel days, etc. And then for the next 2 days, I stayed at that 25%, and I didn't have any other days where I had that withdrawal headache or anything like that. So that was kind of my stage of how I set that up. So what else here? Yeah, and I didn't feel any negative effects of this 14 days of not having the caffeine. It wasn't like it was like 8 o'clock p.m. and I was like dozing off or anything like that. I wasn't any tired or any earlier or anything like that. As many of you know, and I've talked about this many times before, and I have my Aura ring here. I track my sleep religiously. And there's many things that affect sleep for sure, but I can't say that my sleep was any better or worse or anything like that. It was pretty much in line during these last 14 days of having no caffeine. So what did I learn? I didn't do any testing beforehand. I didn't test my cortisol levels before. I'm not going to test them after or anything like that. But I was fine. I had no problems, with the exception of that first or the second day where I had that bit of withdrawal symptoms. I was fine. I had some hot water, had some non-caffeine tea in the morning, and I was good. It made really no difference to me. Now, I wasn't doing anything super cognitively taxing. I wasn't studying for anything. I wasn't getting deep into doing any writing or anything like that. So, maybe if I was, maybe I would have noticed something different. But sort of day to day, everyday kind of life made no difference. So I think I'm going to put this in the rotation, probably maybe twice a year to start with. A lot of people say quarterly, but I think twice a year is good enough just for something to do. So anyway. if you'd like to hear more about this, or maybe how you can incorporate this, if you think you have too much caffeine or caffeine sensitivities, or, 4 o'clock and you're pulling out that eighth cup and you know it's probably not good for you, it's affecting your sleep, etc. Hey, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. Maybe I can help. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss a video or any of the other information that I'm presenting. So anyway, take care.